When young men walk up to me and ask for advice, if I am confused and I'm dissatisfied with where I am in life, what do I do? How can I transition from point A to point B? What is the best step to take? What I say to them is the will and desire to live where you're currently in. When JFK asked Von Braun, what does it take to put a man on the moon? His response, the will to do it. So if you have the genuine desire to leave your current situation, then you wouldn't be there much long. Majority of you who say you want to be rich or you want to leave that situation are not doing nothing to put you forward to that goal. A will is a determination backed up by the desire to pay the price to get that which you seek. This idea that you can meditate your way to success is a fallacy. In this kingdom, we are only allowed to choose our decision. We are not allowed to choose consequences. Consequences are a product of decisions. We are 2 story high. If I walk to the summit of this building and I jump, chances are excellent that I would fall. So falling is the consequence that comes in honor to that decision. Now, I've not taken that decision. I've not made that decision, but we already know my lot. My lot has already been defined. So when you say, oh, I just want to have fun, I just want to chill, I just want to relax, my friend, realize that what you're saying is you're setting yourself up for the path of failure. You are only precipitating your own disaster. It's funny how this generation think because there are people who have walked the exact same path you're currently indulging in, and you've seen the result, you've seen the end result of that path. You will think that the upcoming generation will see this thing and discern and correct it, but absolutely and utterly incorrect. They do the exact same thing and hope to get a different result. Another definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different outcome. That is absolutely and utterly false. So, my friends, ever seen a child playing? That is for children and women because you're trying to neglect responsibility. Ever seen a child playing? Playing with toys, like it just messes everything. They have zero sense of responsibility. That's what you're doing. Women cry because they want attention. Children cry because they have no responsibility and because they can. You're a full grown adult. It's time to take responsibility for your life. Stop hoping and expecting someday my ship is going to drop. Someday I might win the lottery. Someday. Stop living your life on autopilot. You wake up zero direction. You wake up, you have nowhere to go, nowhere to do, nothing to do. Someone walks into your house and say, "Oh, bro, let's go get gas." You get dressed, zero bearing on your time. Respect your destiny enough and guard your attention jealously because where your attention goes is the direction your destiny follows. Think about this. Where your attention goes is the direction your destiny follows. Well, my friends, guard your attention. Well, what if I put in all this effort and I don't get the pertinent result? What happens then? Well, my friend, that's what you're scared of. You're scared of putting in all this effort. You're scared of doing the work. You're scared of grinding hard and not getting the pertinent results. Well, my friend, that's not how these things work. There are some things you can control. There are things you can't control. Focus on that which you can control, which is when you show up, what time you show up, the attitude you use in showing up. When you go to the gym and tear down your muscles, you go home feeling sore and excited because you know that rebuilding process is going to build the muscles into something bigger. That rebuilding process is something you have zero control and zero explanation for. However, the only thing you can do is the initiation of that process, which is to go to the gym. The same thing with boiling water. When you turn on the gas and the water is steaming, the only control you have is turning on the gas. you have zero influence whatsoever on the steaming process. So when you grind hard, put in effort, be dedicated and consistent, your idea that you're setting yourself up for success, because this is something not most people do. And if you do something most people don't do, you're fixing to get something most people aren't. Yeah. So that's the first thing. The first is the will and the desire to do it. The second is you must have a goal. Establish a goal. Establish where you want to go to. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a destination, 90% of the time you would not arrive. Take two ships. One has its voyage mapped out, its crew and the captain, they are in tandem with the destination. They have a full mapped out idea of where they're going to. 90% out of 100, they are going to arrive. Whereas the second ship, it had zero destination, zero map. Starts up the engine and start moving. 90% of the time, it's either going to sink or wind up on some deserted island. Maybe it ends up on a beautiful place, maybe not. But 99% out of the time, the former is always going to happen. You don't want to be like that ship with no destination, hoping something will happen. When you hope without any form of planning, you are like the second ship because you have zero direction of where you want to go. I was speaking with a friend sometime and he said, "You talk so much about establishing goals, but I view this as abstract. I do not see how establishing goals would improve the quality of my life. Could you explain that to me?" And if you are in this part of Nigeria, you would notice that internet frauds are one of the prevalent business models. So this guy was a very big internet fraudster. Not that I like to associate with this kind of people, but then he came up to me and asked this question. I said, "Remember before you began this internet fraud, how were you?" He said, "Broke and poor." So the moment you learned this idea, the moment you sustained this new information, your life picked up, your finances picked up, you bought a car, you owned a house. So what is the difference between that version of you and this version of you? He said, "This information." Exactly. So when you sustain a new information, it tells directly on your life. This might seem abstract. That's why most people find solace and comfort in the gym, because it's something you can directly measure. I go to the gym, I do curls, I do arm bars, my my hands are going to get bigger. So it's something you can directly measure. Now, this is a very good analogy of what you can do. Think about the most times you were most excited in your existence, small existence. It was the time when you had a girlfriend, when you had something to look forward to, when you were texting, "Have you eaten? How was lunch?" etc. So you were excited to get up. When you lost her, your life became shit. Not necessarily because you loved this person, but because of she has taken the thing you look forward to. She has taken that aspect of your life, that excitement, that part of you who was excited to get up. The same thing with parties, another hedonistic route. When you have a party, you are hyped up with your boys, texting on the WhatsApp group. "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in this party. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait," on the WhatsApp group. And once the party finally occurs and it's passed, you go through another hedonistic route. It's an infinite loop of it's a downward spiral. That's not how you should channel that energy. That energy should be channeled into something positive and constructive if you have any chance of escaping the system. That's the first thing. The second thing, or that's the first thing in the second thing. So establish a goal. Establish a goal is not, I have broken it down for you. Now you can see that it's not as abstract as it used to be. So establish a goal and you'll be fine. So if you've gotten up onto this point of the video, I commend you, because this is something majority of people cannot do. They find it difficult to do because we live in a very low attention span economy. If you've gotten up or if you've gotten to this point, you've exercised the first option, which is the will. It shows that you have the will to change your situation. And these two keys implemented correctly, you would see an improvement in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I've made money by running tons of faceless channels. I have zero interest in whatever you have to offer me. I made money by running tons of faceless YouTube channels, so I'm very well off. Those money was multiplied in the stock market as well as real estate. So I have zero interest in selling you a course or whatever bullshit outlet these influencers use to milk money out of you. For everyone watching this, if you're at the beginning of your journey, I do not recommend you buying a course. 10 steps to build a $1 billion conglomerate. The only $1 billion conglomerate you're building is theirs and not yours. Any financial enriching scheme, the only person that ends up getting enriched is the purporter of that course. So I'm not saying these courses are bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're not enlightened enough to distinguish between a premium course and a normal course. All this I'm saying can be put on Udemy or whatever outlet and labeled as premium. Yes, if you watch it, there's a halo effect surrounding the paid course. Now you pay, and every information you see begins to seem more profound than usual because you paid. So try to learn, leverage on all these free materials. They can act as a stepping stone and a guide. When you are enlightened enough and you begin to see results, then you can now start paying for courses, buying courses. However, I do not recommend you buying courses as long as those courses are not teaching you a specific skill like machine learning, AI learning, etc. I do not recommend you buying some personal development course. There are tons of materials you can leverage on. You can read books in your free time. As always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.